Hi, Cancer. When I discovered you, I was at home with my family, had had a big dinner, decided that I was going to go in the bathroom to see how bad I needed to lose weight. Upon that, I was going to flex my muscles in the mirror in the front, and then decided to turn around to the back and realized that there's a little elevated bump on a mole in my back. I showed it to my wife. My wife says, hey, let's go to the dermatologist to get this looked at. Went to the dermatologist. He says to me, I don't think this is a big deal. Let me excise it, and then I'll call you in a few days. He calls me a few days later to say, hey, that was cancer on your back. It was melanoma. My first thought was, okay, well, you cut it out. It's all good, right? He goes, no, you need to see a surgeon tomorrow to have the rest of it excised. Had the surgery. I thought I was done with you. About 6 weeks later, after my job, the incision is healed, and I feel just tightness through my shoulder blades. I decided to call the dermatologist again to say, hey, what can I do to loosen up the skin that you took out? He decides to say, hey, before we look at that, let's examine the rest of your body, because on the first visit, I only took out one part. Let's look at the rest of you. Then we discovered another lesion on my leg. Decided to cut it out. Get called 3 days later to find out I've got melanoma at a second location on my leg. After a drain, surgery, healed up, had a chunk taken out of my leg as if I had a wrestling match with Jaws. Thought I was done with you. 3 months goes along. I'm a happy guy. I think you're in my rearview mirror. When I started feeling pain in my groin and my testicle, started talking to my wife, like, I've got a discomfort, a pain in my testicle, but I can't reproduce it. I don't know really what it's coming from. She said, let's go to the urologist. I go to the urologist. He says, hey, who treated your melanoma? I'm like, well, it's all cut out. It's gone. And he seemed to have a little bit more concern about my 2 previous melanomas than the pain that was in my testicle. So he says, look, I don't think after an examination that you have any problems, but on the safe side, let's get an ultrasound and just to rule everything out. I delayed about 3 weeks on the ultrasound, thinking, this is nothing. He thinks it's probably a cyst. This is going to go away. 3 weeks later, it didn't go away. I finally had the ultrasound done. I was at my office with a room full of people. The neurologist calls me with the results saying, hey, you've got a mass in your testicle. That's the reason why you have pain in your groin. Come see me tomorrow. Upon visiting him the next day, he tells me that you've come back to see me again. And then kind of gives me some news that I didn't quite like. He said, listen, if you've got melanoma in your testicle, it's not going to be a good outcome. Immediately, though, the sound of your voice, the sound of hearing your voice was startling, makes your heart rate go up, makes you feel like alone in a room by yourself. After that, we did surgery the next day, and he said the only really way to know what kind of cancer that you have in your testicle is we'll cut it out and look at it. Found out the next day it was seminoma. Obviously, that was good news for me compared to a diagnosis of melanoma. Went on for treatment, had radiation, did what I was supposed to do. After that, of hearing 3 different cancers in a 6-month period, you kind of change your outlook on life. Now that I've put you behind me, I'm going to try to encourage others to be more outspoken about what we can do to be healthier about it, to help the others that are going through cancer treatments now, that I'll be able to support them so we can kick you in the behind and leave us alone. After getting done with my cancer treatment, I've gone back to school, become a nurse, I'm also a chiropractor, and I'm going to do everything I can to keep you in my rearview mirror and then keep you out of everyone else's lives. Sincerely,